Good morning, Spartans. Good morning. Hope everyone's having a great morning so far. A bit of a wild day for sure. Got this massive pump up this morning, rejecting rejected the high here, which was the which was yesterday's high of day, and a massive sell-off since that. I think a lot of guys got caught up in this. A lot of bulls got trapped here looking for that gap fill or looking to enter the gap. Personally, myself, I've had a pretty okay morning, just scalping a little bit on the way up here. Waiting now at 9:58 in my time, so that is almost noon New York time. Going to wait for this 1 hour candle to close. I've got about a minute and 35 seconds left on that. We'll see how that closes and if we can get a little bit of retracement, probably back to this area, or I mean, we could just sell all the way through down now. This is just wild for sure. Don't see any news on the wire. If anyone sees any news on the wire, let me know. I mean, normally we'll see obviously a bit of a rejection at, key levels like yesterday's low of day, previous low of day. This is a massive sell off from there, 440, 480 to 220. That's huge. At this point, I'm assuming every pop is just going to get shorted into. Just got to wait and see how that pans out here. I'd like to get into a potential short, maybe up into that, looking for that 1 hour candle to retrace a little bit. See if we can't come up and test this wick here. A lot of times you wait for that 1 hour candle, kind of that reopening of the 1 hour candle here to make a nice push up, form that top wick, preferably really close to here, and then flip bearish at that point, and you can look at taking entry on the candle flip, putting your stop just above the wick that was formed. So we'll see if we get that entry. Obviously, we're quite bearish. We're underneath VWAP. We've made a massive retracement from yesterday's high of day. So we'll see if we get an entry up here now. Again, I was hoping that this, I mean, this can still happen, right? I mean, looking somewhere up around in here. I'm looking for a candle flip on the 1 hour. Hopefully everyone's had a good morning and it's been pretty safe. I mean, chasing those highs at the top obviously could cause some problems, up in this area. But depending on the chart that you're looking at the 5-minute chart here, and you're going to notice, some pretty big rejections. We break above yesterday's high of day, we immediately close below with the next 5-minute candle, and then you get a rejection. This candle here was pretty telling. That wick down, you get an inside bar here, and pretty much after we break that inside bar and the next candle's 5-minute low, down we went. So we had 5, 10, 15, 20, about a half an hour consolidating, trying to bust through that level, and we couldn't do it, and down we came. So it looks like we're going to get that flip. I'm going to go short here. My stop is going to be right above that wick. And target for this one, yeah, let's just see how this pans out. I might just look at moving to break even and trying to trail down. There's some confusion areas for me in here. You're looking at, possible 618 retracement on a Fibonacci. You may get some buyers coming in at that point, or at this point, the way that we've been selling, we may just go all the way down and test, low of day, right? So that's kind of the thought. It's just going to move to break even really quick on this trade, and it might cost me, to be honest, but all right, there we go. We're getting a bit of a push. Let's take one off there. Let's see if it continues to move. May get some speed now at this point. Another inside bar there, 5-minute inside bar. So that's an entry for a lot of models. We should inverse this fair value gap as well. Take another one off there. And now I'm going to move stop to break even. We did lock up some profits there. Pretty decent. Little scalp. We'll see how far this can go if we don't get stopped out here. We may come all the way up and test the bottom of that wick, which it looks like it did there. But let's move back to the 5-minute chart here. Target at that point is going to be that pivot there. Looks like we're probably going to get stopped here for break even. All right, out of break even, guys. So about a $60 scalp. Little wins. To be honest there, I think the target is, the draw on liquidity here is going to be that open at 25,150. All right, getting that pushed down again. At this point, we're looking at nothing but selling pressure all the way down. Like I mentioned, I think at this point we should be tapping into this area, which is the Globex open at 25,150. I really like that inside bar break as well. Just a wild day, like just thinking that at one point the thought had to be that we're going into that big area, that big gap area, and we're going to look at filling some of it, if not all of it. And now we're going the complete opposite direction, thinking that we may close negative here, right, on the session, which is wild. I mean, now we're just sitting at a 0.3% positive, soon to turn negative, right? If we break that candle low there, or break that red dotted line there. Just would like to find a nice short entry here again. White line is the 9 EMA. Yellow, or sorry, the blue line is the 21. You'll notice we are respecting that. We're respecting that 9 EMA right now on the way down, which is kind of where you want to get your entries if you're still going to write that short down for, little scalp moves. Probably get. There's still 20 points there. Wild, wild day, guys. Underneath POC at this point now, I mean, there's no reason we don't test it at this point, but don't really know where to structure a stop loss here. I mean, we could get a little bit. Most of these little red candles get cat bounces, right? We're clearly going to test lows. If not testing lows, for testing the 150 area, which I should have stayed in my short from this area here. Right, we would have been approaching target at this point, so a little lack of patience on my end, but sentiment has definitely switched at this point. Everything is going down. ES is down. YM cratering. Nvidia dumping. So sediment has definitely changed at this point in time. Big massive red candle, big massive dump at this point. Testing that 150 area now, as we spoke about. Wow. Hopefully you guys are all banking on this for sure. Getting a bit of that reaction, as mentioned, of Globex Open. Looks like we are breaking that now, testing low of day soon here. Still just kind of waiting for a spot that I can enter at here. Don't want to chase this move, but not really getting much of a retracement either. I mean, we're just kind of riding that 90 EMA all the way down. Pardon me. Let's see what happens down here at this pivot and essentially low day if we get a double bottom bounce or not. Just mark that out there. But yeah, we just negated this entire move from the 150s, 350 point move up, 350 point move down. Just wild, guys. Starting to get a bit of a bounce off that level, probably a dead cat bounce. Testing that 90 EMA again. Ideally, pardon me, I'd like to see us break that and come up to this 21 here and see how we react at that level. But we are getting a bit of that bounce off that level, so switch back to the 5 minute here. Are getting that nice double bottom here from this pivot here, which is really the area that has to hold, right? We got to hold that area if we're going to make any kind of move back up. So let's wait and see how this 5 minute bar closes. A couple minutes left in this bar. We'll see if we can get any sustained buying at this level or if we're just looking at another dead cat bounce. So for those of you that are new to the stream, if you're looking at my screen here and wondering what you're looking at, I'll just give you another quick little rundown. On the right-hand side here, this is a 1 hour overlay showing me the 1 hour, just the 1 hour candles and how they've been printing. It shows the timer here as well, 41 minutes left in the 1 hour candle, letting me see structure as it's building. The white and blue candles normally are on a 15-minute. That's what I'm looking at. Red boxes here, green boxes, these are fair value gaps that are formed, just letting me um, be aware of where those imbalances are. The dotted red line is the Globex open from the night before. That's the 6 p.m. open when futures reopens the following, or I guess the same day after the 1 hour break. That line is a general line in the sand, right? That's going to let us know if we're going to be, red or green on the day. So really important level to have marked out. You almost always get some sort of reaction to it. So we are getting 150, almost a 50-point bounce off of that level, right? So important level to be aware of. I was going to look at potentially buying there. Would rather wait to see how this 5 minute candle closes and see if we retrace a little bit before going further higher. The blue line here, this is just a SMA, 20 SMA. Three gaps that are showing on this chart as well are set on my time frame to be showing me the 15-minute fair value gap, regardless what time frame I'm at. So if I'm at the 1 minute, obviously, this isn't a 1 minute fair value gap. This is just letting me know where that 15-minute is. So if I am switching back and forth, I have an idea of where that level is and what I need to be watching for. All right, 5 minute candle did close. Not super bearish. We did get that wick down, right? Sellers did manage to push that down. 25 points. All right, not much for me to do here. For now, we are holding that level. Would like to see some kind of structure break. So for me, that would be really here. If I want to jump on a long again. All right, guys, sorry about that. I'm back here. So we did get a bit of that retracement or that pullback off of the Globex open here, and now we're getting that sell down again, right? Which is kind of what I suspected might happen. So if you're bearish at this point, we're going to look for structure to break below, take out this short-term kind of double bottom pivot here, and sweep this area here, right? That's kind of what I'd be looking for at this point. Rejecting a point of control here as well for the day, sitting at 211 is where point of control is. Just have that on another monitor here. Would like to structure a short here for sure. I mean, it's kind of the area you're looking to break. If you're a bear, let's wait for this 5-minute bar to close as well. We've got 38 seconds left in this 5-minute bar. Pretty indecisive at this point. But so far, NASDAQ is kind of staying true to its form. NASDAQ loves these mature double bottoms, right? I mean, we form a bottom at 9:30, you come back and test it 3 hours later, you almost always get some sort of reaction from there. Being that this is a technical level and this is the Globex Open as well, it was a pretty good confluence. You don't necessarily need to take this all the way back to high day, but even if you're just playing the ATR range, which at this point was 50 points on a 5-minute candle, 1/8 from here, 150 is 200. You would have, hit that within the first 5-minute candle. So a couple different strategies on how you can get there. Looks like we may be breaking this down. See if we can get a 1-minute close. I suspect if we do test this area again, it's not going to hold. I don't like potential double bottoms when they're formed 5-10 minutes apart from each other. I don't find that those hold as much as opposed to a mature one like this that took 3 hours to retest. At least that gave you one full ATR. So just kind of chopping in here. See that 5 minute closes again? Not really convincing either. Could look at structuring a short potentially if we get below this line here. A break now. $20 left on this 1 minute candle. Let's see how it closes. $15 looks like it wants to sell down as well. Two-minute ride in that 20 SMA, which is nice. All right, that previous 1 minute candle did not close below my level here. We're going to leave this one for the next 1 minute candle to print and hold. If it does break pretty deeply, I will just wait for a retracement back up in here. But for now, it looks like we're holding that. Still holding that level. See if the buyers come in here, but at this point, we're just chopping around. We're in that lunch hour chop as well. And we're starting to see every green candle that pops being sold down, right? This one sold down, this one sold down, this one essentially sold down. We'll see how that pans out, but still nothing for me to do here. The 1 hour for now is looking bullish, right? We're starting to get that rejection, as I mentioned, off the Globex Open, which is quite common. The other thing I do notice again, if we come down and test this area again in a short span, my general feeling is you're going to break that level, right? And when you've got two 5 minute bars forming a double bottom next to each other, those tend to break more often than they hold. Right? You got equal lows, whatever you want to call them here. So a lot of liquidity sitting down here, right? And a lot sitting here, which is eventually, I think, where we're going to get to. That's the area I'd be looking at target. Getting a push out of that bit. See if we can't get push above this level here. Nothing too convincing right now. Once again, those pops are getting shorted into. So if I had to make a wager at this point, I think we go lower. Just waiting for a confirmed break below this line here. As we keep rejecting it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 times. This may be the break here. 30 seconds left in this 1 minute candle. We'll see. We run these wicks. We could get a push down to there. We're running the wicks now. Sucking back up. 7 seconds left in this candle. So you always wait for candles to close, guys. Look at the way that got sucked back up. Not too convincing for me. Gonna wait for the next 1 minute candle to close. Gonna just move this guy here now. It's a little, a little too close to that area. I'm just gonna adjust that. So we may just chop up in here, and then every time we make this push, we're gonna get rejected too. This is going to be the point of control that we're hitting at right now, and we are rejecting that again. Could be building some sort of base here as well. The fact that sellers can't push this to low V, does concern me a bit. So at this point in time, I'd be looking for a break, close, and hold of that level. To essentially going long. VWAP is sitting at the 2.6 area. So we do have room to this pivot here, essentially. Right about there. So kind of reaction we get up here. I suspect sellers will come back in at this point and try to hammer that down. Going to be 10 that area now. Lines of EMAs on this Tradevate chart. This is the 9 EMA, the white line. Blue line is the 21 EMA. The 9 broke the 20, the 9 crossing the 20 here. Everything is bullish at this point. Bearish at this point underneath the VWAP, both the Globex VWAP and the New York VWAP. So you're under VWAPs. So at this point, there's not much for me to do. So let's see if we break and break above and hold above that bit there. At that point, you'd be looking at a lower high, right? So you could argue that the bulls are going to step back in. So let's see what happens up in this area. Still just rejecting POC. POC at the moment at 25,206, which is where we're getting those rejections. And just consolidating in this range, right? $40-point consolidation range. All right, seller coming back down again, rejecting POC. For you range traders out there playing this little range in here, you're probably doing okay. As long as you're getting your areas near the tops and the bottoms of the range and you're avoiding this little middle area here. So just kind of chopping around in here. Overall, pretty solid for myself, $385. This is a take profit evaluation account. I'm halfway to passing. Would like to get this up a little bit more. You're allowed to make up to $1,500 in one day on the evaluations. You can pass in as little as 2 days. You don't need to pass in 2 days, of course. You can take your time as long as you're, going to deal with it in 30 days so you don't get rebuilt. I don't even know what day I'm on here. I've kind of been trading some other vals, some different companies, so I may be day 10 or something, but I'm gonna wrap this up hopefully this week. So still not getting a confirmed solid break underneath this level here. This may be the one here. Got this here that we may run. But every time we get down here, we seem to be getting bought up here. All right, so we're going to fall back into the range. When this candle closes, we'll probably be inside the range again. About 20 seconds left in this candle. I'm a betting man that we're going to stay inside this range at this point. And if you're shorting, this is the kind of area you get shorting up in here. Just 202. So POC sitting at 202. All right, there's that break underneath. Do we fall back into the range? Got to back test that. I'm going to try a quick short here. We did get that confirmed. And we'll look at adding up in this area. And if you're looking for that break double bottom. So far, it looks like we're getting sucked back up into the range. This is kind of where I should have been entering, right? Where my line is. I mean, would have had a bit of a better entry there. But yeah, it looks like we're getting pulled back into the range. Yeah, just that's the speed right there. Gonna see how we react at POC here. See if we get that push down again. It's a bit of a push down. Just chopping here, guys. There's nothing really magical about any of this at the moment. It's pretty choppy and whippy. Though I'm not overly liking the fact we haven't made a push for low of day or this double bottom, right? The more we kind of fight this area, the more I think we're going to get a liquidity sweep at the top range here. So I'm probably going to try to get flat here if we can get close to my entry. And I'm going to look at re-entering a little bit higher up. All right, we just hit POC at this. Probably going to test here now. It's a big selling candle. I'm not really liking it. Let's see if we get that push underneath at this point. See if I can get some out. I did not. Come on, hit. How does that not hit? There we go. I think we're going to flatten there, guys. Just kind of in that range a little bit. I don't like Trade Evade. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I normally use Quantower. Quantower is a lot more user friendly as far as me moving my stops. With Trade Evade, you DCA a little bit in here because you're trying to layer into your position, and you got to go up in here and you got to move crap around. You can't, right? Like with Quantower, I can set my take profit and my stop loss immediately off of this. This is I don't know this. It just Trade Evade has annoyed me in terms of trying to get it in and out with quick scalps. It works really well. I think so. Lost 84 there, lost 60, so about $60, I think. Net. Net profit regardless. Kind of my mistake there. I mean, I did manage to get out of that trade, but I should be looking at taking my first ad here at the POC rather than trying to play this breakout because it's just not going to happen at this point. I really think it's more likely going to break out the top at this point. So I'm going to leave this alone for a little bit. See if we can't get a better entry. But again, for you range traders up in here, this is probably pretty good. So we'll look at the stats here while we're waiting for something to happen. So a lot of scalpy today. I am sitting at a 59% win rate, 5% even, losing 35% of my trades. Pretty decent. Average winning trade. So my average losing trade is a little bit more than my average winning trade, which is kind of the way I've been trading this morning, is just kind of scalping. I did miss a lot of that move up this morning, and got to the chart a little late. It was already, a little bit extended. So I'll show you what I mean. So once we're kind of up in this area is when I started to look at the chart and I thought, there's not, you made this move that you've missed out. Trump is Davos. He's talking about whatever he wants to talk about. At some point, you may get this, right? But up in here, because we were so extended, I was just scalping a couple of ATRs, right? So 20 points is what the ATR was near. Just scalping 20 points, 10 points, 20 points, 10 points with micros. Caught a little bit on the way down. Honestly, didn't trust this move down. I expected buyers to come back in at the area. Sorry, this area, right? It kind of happened a little bit on that candle, but no follow through. Ever since then, I haven't trusted much of it. It's like Nvidia starting to curl up a bit. I'm gonna make a move higher at this point. But that's kind of thought would happen if you are playing the. So we made this big massive move down. All right, here's a big massive move down. We formed a double bottom. We retraced and pulled back here. Sellers tried to push down to new lows, they failed. We retraced. Sellers tried to push us down again to new lows, failed, failed, failed. So sellers have failed numerous times in this area trying to continue the move lower. Generally, when that happens, the odds are we're going to clear at least temporarily. So there's a, kind of pivot area that I marked here that I'd like to see break and hold, which just kind of line that up there with that pivot there, and you've got the 21 EMA. So for me to even consider a long at this point, I want to see this candle close above this pivot here, which would be above this wick high here. And essentially, I'd want to see this break and hold above the 20 EMA. Looking pretty bullish for that candle, right? Is that break that we had marked off? Do we get a sustained move up, or do we get quickly sold off at the 21 EMA, fall back into this range? If we do break below here and fall back into the range, I'm assuming then we're going to test the bottom of the range, and we may stay in here a little bit longer. What's everyone else seeing out there? Well, this was the first 5-minute candle to close back above the 9 EMA since we broke down at 9:30 Eastern. Sorry, 11:30 Eastern. My bad. So about an hour and a half underneath the 9 EMA. We did break above it here. Now we're sitting in what they call the fishtail. We're in between the 9 and the 21 EMA and the 5-minute chart. You can bounce up in here a little bit. So I suspect we test the 21 EMA, we bounce back to the 9. So that's a good opportunity to potentially look at a short in there if you're willing to short that. Also got VWAP sitting at 256. I think I marked that up here. It's come down a little bit. No, it's right there. It's going to be a bit of a bull trap as well, right? Form a low, consolidate, break above, retest. Bulls are thinking is the retest there. We're going to go long and let's see if we get a fail back into the range. Starting to push out again. Approaching VWAP. Trading View's got VWAP sitting at 50 just out there. I've had a pretty solid day. I don't know if I want to do many more trades here. I mean, we may get that push up now, but this kind of price action is hard to read. I mean, at this point, you're going to be for quick scalps if you are trading, unless you manage to catch this trade here, which I talk about a lot on this channel, and I've made some videos about it as well, like Globex Open, right? So if you're still holding from here, you got a phenomenal entry. You took like 10 points of drawdown, and you would be up at this point if you're still holding over 100, right? From this double bottom and the Globex Open, and you've also got a 15 minute 15-minute fair value gap, and you've held equilibrium is the middle of that, which this line is almost the middle of that fair value gap, right? So you held that and got a reaction out of it. Further confluence that we're going to go higher. So yeah, I did not take that trade. I don't know why I didn't. I talk about it a lot. I think I was just looking at some other things and I missed that. Rejecting VWAP at this. All right, where are we here? So there's that 21 EMA that we mentioned, right? You are getting a bit of that rejection from her. So 4. Let's see if you get back, or we can hold above that. There's that massive break again, right? So just like we talked about, guys, that was the trade there. There was a scalp there. 21 EMA rejection, out at the 9. So 50s, about, for sure you had a 25-point move in there between the fishtail. Now, this is some aggressive selling in here after they induced all of those shorts, sorry, all those longs right here. Thinking structures change, we're going to go higher. We reject VWAP and we fall back into this range. So your target is down here at this point. Pretty big candle there for sure. Again, I suspect we're going to go all the way to the bottom of the range again. Those trade off the 5 minute 21. Still going. 60 points. Wow. It's a massive selling candle for sure, guys. This 5 minute candle is engulfed. Taking out that wick, this wick, about to take all of these out. I suspect this is going all the way down to lows at this point, right? Look at that. A lot of selling coming in. Well, the buyer's getting out here. Ones that chased, stops getting hit. See if we take out that low to then look at taking out that one there. Yeah, just a massive, massive bear candle, guys. Look at this. I don't think anything's going to stop it. I think we're going to run these stops here too. Gonna run this real quick pop down to probably there. Let's mark that with my cursor. Well, I'm kicking myself now for not taking that EMA trade. I'm gonna called it out. Looking to take it from the 21 down to the 9. I mean, I probably wouldn't have been whole far anyway, so it's not that big of a deal, but that still was a nice scalp. What happened there? I mean, ideally, you probably want to short there where it was, which is the bottom of that range, but it wasn't quick enough at that point. But that's kind of where the entry should have been. See, I mean, I've got mine up at the 90 man. Just gonna see if we get 90 EMA touching and then come back down. It's good to actually move that up there, which is the 9 EMA on the 5. 181 is the bottom of those candles there. Tried one there. Ultimate looking at running this area here. Starting to get a little bit of buying up in here. This is getting a little wicky in here for sure. Not a big fan. Let's see we react here. Still pushing out of that a little bit, not really. You did get a bit of a reaction, but you see the way the candles are moving at this point. You're starting to get some buying pressure here. So I'm going to move that up there. We can add to the position the 50% market, this deep candle, which coincides with the 9 EMA. And which would coincide essentially with The point of control is sitting at that area as well. I think this will be the last trade for me, guys. No continuation after this big candle. I mean, we're tracing essentially half of it at this point. Hopefully we don't retrace more than half. See how this 1 minute candle closes. The 1 minute candle closes green, red. We should get a push through that. Just marking that there, guys. I'm okay taking a loss here. Yeah, I'm fine. Just not liking know that we get much further movement at this point. We're pretty extended to the side, and this chop up in here and some of this price action is a little wonky for me. Okay, I'm going to shut her down there, guys. I think that's it for me. I don't want to take any more trades. I've had a pretty decent morning. I think I'm going to lock that up and protect those profits. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I'm trying to stream here a little more than daily in the 11:30, 11:45 Eastern time, New York, few hours. And yeah, I appreciate all the support. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the other side.